Welcome to Canadian Justice. I'm K.R. Davidson. Today we have a special one-on-one interview with a lawyer at the heart of Toronto's tow truck wars. The Greater Toronto Area has been the scene of violence between rival tow truck companies who have been warring over lucrative tow jobs that can net a tow truck driver significant profits from every job. In May of this year, Toronto Area Police laid charges against several organized crime groups that are operating tow truck companies in that area. The project, named Project Platinum, led to the search warrant and seizure of approximately 40 illegal firearms and approximately 200 charges, including a charge for first-degree murder. These tow truck wars have also struck at the heart of our justice system. Organized crime groups threatened a lawyer attempting to put a stop to the illegality, which is costing Ontario motorists approximately $2 billion in increased insurance fees, and as a result, her life was threatened. Her law firm had to be closed, and she has fled the country as the police have stated that they're not able to guarantee her safety. Lisa Carr is with us today to tell us of her harrowing experience that she still continues to navigate. Thanks so much for coming on the show today. Can you please tell the viewers, how did you first get involved in this, and how is your firm basically at the center of this matter?
Well, I actually started in the field very shortly after graduating from law school. I took on the first trial as an articling student. Shortly before a trial, a client came in and said, we need someone to represent us. It was in small claims court. So as an articling student, I took the trial. It was a successful outcome, and it just steamrolled from there. I was slowly building clients in the repair and storage litigation.
So
And
I just want to clarify here. So when you first started your law career, you were basically a lawyer suing, is it auto body shops that were artificially inflating repair jobs? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, it was an insurance company that had approached us, our firm I was with at the time, and said, we're involved in this litigation and we need someone to represent us at the trial.
S-
And it was involving a body shop, I believe it was, or a tow company, and it was related to storage fees, the excessive storage fees, that sort of thing. And that is pretty much how I got started.
Okay, so your firm ended up focusing your part of your practice, or probably most of your practice, on this. Give us an understanding of why is this such an issue, or in the Toronto area, and I know it's in other major cities in Canada and otherwise as well. But why is this a major issue? Isn't a tow truck driver get a set fee, and once they have a job? But how are we seeing these great profits derived from this?
Well, the set fees are only if there's a bylaw in place, then you can report it to a bylaw officer. But the problem with the bylaws are that the fees are only regulated from the side of the road, from your accident scene to your first destination. The problem is that there's no regulation beyond that first tow.
So
And
what type of money are we talking about in this instance?
well, City of Toronto, they regulate their first tow fee at somewhere in the $250 range. It may have gone up since I was practicing, but that's the first tow fee is $250.
But
It does.
obviously we're not seeing murder charges in that as a result of people fighting over $250. What are some of the illegal monies that are being derived from this, or fees that might go outside of what you're seeing in the stated bylaw?
So all of those are really undisclosed. I mean, we've all heard on the news that there's kickbacks typically from a body shop to have the vehicle towed to that body shop. There's storage fees, the excessive storage fees. There's a possessory lien that they can make it difficult for you to get your vehicle back so that the storage fees continue accruing from day to day. But the exact amounts, to be honest with you, when I was in practice, I, kickbacks you can't prove. My insurance clients always knew about that, but
But
You
what,
can't prove it, so you don't know the exact
and
amounts.
what, well, we're going to go to a commercial message in a few seconds, but when we come back, we'll maybe get a range of seeing what everybody is fighting for in these tow truck wars. Stay with us. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Canadian Justice. We're here talking with Lisa Carr, a lawyer at the heart of the tow truck wars. And Lisa, we were talking right before the break just about what are the range of some of the monies that we're seeing being contested over by some of these turf wars. I know you don't have precise numbers, but what is the range of some of the amounts that we're talking about here on a per job basis?
On a per job basis, one vehicle, it could be from hundreds of dollars up to tens of thousands of
Huh.
dollars.
And so when you're saying the tens of thousands, so we were chatting before, and you said if there's not a bylaw in place, basically, if somebody hooks up a vehicle, let's say there's an accident on the 401, and somebody comes to pick it up a few minutes or 30 minutes later, or whatever the case may be, it's my understanding tow truck drivers, if they're not regulated, can charge whatever price they deem is appropriate. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, and then not only is that a factor that's being considered in some of these excessive amounts, but we're seeing that there's, in some instances, there's auto body shops that may be artificially inflating the cost of the collision and kicking back some of these monies to the tow truck drivers. Is that also a consideration?
Absolutely, that's my understanding that there were kickbacks given because that is how the body shops would get their vehicles.
And so,
Because the tow operator,
yeah,
yeah,
and so how did you get involved? I think you were hired by some of the insurance companies to try to address the issue with the inflated collision repairs. How did you address that as a law firm?
so that was actually most of the trials that I was dealing with is the body shops were either causing additional damage to the vehicles, and the vehicle owner wasn't aware. There were cases where they were creating fraudulent invoicing and submitting the invoices to the insurance company for payment. There's the additional damage when vehicles were total losses. They were inflating the storage claims.
And
There were cases of revinning vehicles.
and so in cases of artificially inflating or causing more damage to the vehicles, we've heard some stories where there's an understanding you might have what they call a fender bender, a small little a collision, and we're hearing other instances where they would take those cars afterwards and then drive them into each other and create a greater collision to inflate the fees.
That's correct. That's correct. And there were some investigations, through the black box in the vehicle where they could actually determine when a vehicle had been reversed and
Mm.
driven forward into an object, sudden impact, reversed, driven back in.
Wow.
There were investigations like that. I mean, those investigations are costly,
Yeah.
but what I think affected the public the most is that when one of these auto body shops got possession of their cars through the tow company, the auto body shop was saying to the public, too bad you don't have a choice where you want your vehicle repaired.
Really?
And they could not take their cars out. They
Wow.
couldn't get their cars out.
And so what did you do on behalf of the insurance companies that put you at the center of this? How did you end up being in a precarious place? And we're going to talk about some of the challenges you faced in a few minutes.
So we did go a little bit farther than the typical litigation firm, and we got involved in getting the court orders and having the vehicles removed right out of the body shops and out of the tow companies. So when a customer was upset, said, I don't want my car there, I want it at another place, That's when we were retained and we moved the cars out of the body shops and tow companies.
So
And
basically, you're at this place where you're removing the vehicle, which could net these auto body shops tens of thousands of dollars, and
yeah,
obviously the tow truck drivers are tied to this by way of a kickback scheme. And it's my understanding
yeah.
that we've got about 15 seconds or so left before commercial here, but I believe that this is once you started taking more aggressive action here as a lawyer, you started to see threats coming to yourself and to others. And we're gonna take a look at that when we come back after these messages, and we have some footage that we're going to review, and we'll have you comment on that. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Canadian Justice. I'm here with Lisa Carr, the lawyer at the heart of the Toronto tow truck wars. Lisa, you were just talking about how your law firm was actually taking some aggressive action against some of the illegal activity that was occurring. And as a result, I think that there were certain repercussions that you and your firm started to face. Can you give the audience a bit of an understanding of what happened in that respect?
There were actually no threats. It came as a complete surprise, and there was a couple of arson attempts on the office
So here,
at the office location.
So here we've got a clip of the arson, one of the arsons. Why don't we'll play this and take a look and see what's happened here. So
This is the
oh, please go ahead.
sorry. This is the second arson after I had put up cameras, and we caught all this on camera.
So
The
you'd
second
already had
attempt.
one before,
Yes,
and this is the front of your law firm here.
that's correct. Yes.
And the other instance, did they set your firm on fire?
In the first instance, they had thrown what I believe is a Molotov cocktail through into the reception area,
Okay.
through the windows. And the second attempt was the front door, because we had security film on the windows, but not on the doors yet. And as you can see, the fire was contained to the vestibule.
Okay. And
So it wasn't the type of damage that they probably wanted to inflict on the office.
wow. And was there any communications that occurred after this concerning your practice, or was that the communication in and of itself?
That was it. There were no threats. There were no phone calls, no messages, absolutely nothing. Just two arson attempts. That's it.
Okay, and I believe another incident occurred whereby there was a shooting at your firm.
Yeah, I mean the second arson attempt occurred in January of 2019, and there was nothing further until August of 2019, and there was a gun threat before the shooting. So it was the middle of the day. It was completely a surprise. It was about lunchtime, and one of the lawyers in the office went outside right in front of the reception door, and she was just sitting in her car when she was approached by a man with a gun threatening her. And the message that I received was that she was told to stop suing his friend.
Okay.
But there was no other information. We didn't know who the friend was. We didn't know who the file was. We had no idea what lawsuit that we should drop to avoid any further consequences.
Okay, and we have another clip here with respect to a shooting that happened after that. Maybe if you can describe to our audience what happened here.
So this was the week following the gun threat. It was a Friday night. It was 5 o'clock. As many of the girls, we had over 40 people in the firm, and it was 5 o'clock, and everybody was leaving. and this man showed up. It was the same guy from the gun threat,
Mm,
and he sprayed bullets basically across the front of the office. Well, I should clarify that all the bullets went through the two front doors.
okay.
So anybody leaving the office could have been shot at any time.
What, was anybody in the office at the time?
Yes, to be honest with you, it's it can be a bit of a blur. Everything happened, so many things at once,
Sure.
but there was approximately 8 to 10 people in the office.
Really?
And the scariest part is that my receptionist was sitting in front of the reception desk directly in front of that door. She was right in line of those gunshots.
Wow. And
So,
did any of the bullets get through the glass, or did they stop at the glass?
absolutely. Yeah, and they also got through the metal blinds. So we had metal blinds down on one door, went right through the metal blinds, went through the glass. I'd put in by that time special glass, and the police had said that that could have saved her life because it slowed the bullets down. And the bullets went into some chairs in front of the office, and there was even a bullet found at the very back of the office.
We're going to be right
So
back
it
after these
wasn't.
messages to hear more about this from Lisa Carr. Welcome back to Canadian Justice. I'm here with Lisa Carr, a victim lawyer at the heart of the Toronto tow truck wars. So, Lisa, right before we broke, you were talking about these horrific acts that were perpetrated against your firm and the employees of your firm, and ultimately overt threats for you to stop doing what you're doing. Now, I think for the benefit of the viewers, I want to be able to convey, as a lawyer, that you're an officer of the court, and not only is this an act against you as an individual or a private citizen, but this, at its core, is an act against you as a lawyer and a participant of the justice system. What were some of the things that you had to navigate with the police in ensuring your protection? And I know you had some challenges in this area.
Yes, the police initially it took a while because the police really struggled with it, not unlike myself and probably most people. How could a tow truck earning a tow truck fee of $250 have anything to do with this?
Mhm.
I received multiple calls from police working on the investigation saying, "So, who are your clients?" And I said, "Well, my clients are all insurance companies. My clients are not someone you should be looking at. You should be looking at the people that I'm litigating against."
Mm.
I always believed it was somebody I was litigating against, but I didn't know who. I thought it would be more of a repair shop.
Mhm.
Now we know it's more tow companies are at the front of it, and they couldn't grasp how a tow company earning a couple $100 on a tow fee could have any involvement whatsoever in this.
And
So it took a while.
yeah, and
It
it's our understanding now, because of the organized crime investigations and that there's gangs that were actually at the heart of the tow truck companies, and that this was gang warfare, and you seem to be upsetting their enterprise, and so much so that you've had to shut down your law firm and move out of the country for a period of time as a result of threats against your life. And it's my understanding the police have told you that they basically could not protect you.
Yes, absolutely. That was the advice of the police. That after the gunshots at the office, well, I realized it's not just me. It's just anybody in the law firm of Carr Law would be at risk. So I mean, I wasn't going to let somebody get hurt because of the firm. So it was the advice of the police that we needed to shut down. I also had already come to that conclusion that we needed to shut down. I didn't want to see anyone I cared about get hurt. So it was the following week when the police had said, "We received some more information. You're not safe and you need to leave."
And
Um,
an interesting part is, I know that there's a branch within the ministry that specifically sets out to protect judges and criminal lawyers that receive death threats, but for some reason this would not be activated because you were a civil lawyer. I know we just have a few seconds left, but I know that you had to deal with an array of difficulties with respect to trying to shut down your law practice when you're outside of the country, and just trying to navigate issues with the Law Society, and even just in this place trying to start up your career again has been difficult. Thanks for being with us. We so much appreciate your time with us today.
Thank you.
Lisa's story is an exceptional story, and is one that you would never imagine you would hear in Canada. Canada is established on the rule of law, and this is recognized in the Charter of Human Rights and Freedoms. A lawyer that serves in our justice system is an officer of the court, and a threat to lawyers advocating in our system is a threat to Canada's justice system overall, and a threat to this system seeks to undermine the very fabric of our society. In Lisa's case, she can find solace in former British Prime Minister Tony Blair's words, "Sometimes it is better to lose and do the right thing than to win and do the wrong thing." But in this case, Lisa continues to pay a price as she is unable to work and is unable to live in Canada without the fear of being killed. The police have started to address the issue with the organized crime groups, and the government is taking action to curb the underlying activity. Through Lisa's story, we have heard of the attack on our justice system, and this reminds us all that Canadians that we must be more diligent to ensure that those that serve as the pillars of our justice system can keep standing. Thanks for watching Canadian Justice. I'm K.R. Davidson, and remember, keep examining and know that you are part of the solution.